sign in on the way in, please do so. It's how Becky keeps track of our attendance and can get in touch with you and keep the meeting minutes and whatnot. My name is Michael Gaume, and I'm filling in for Vice Mayor Blubaugh this evening. Thanks everyone for coming tonight. At this time, I'll call the September 2019 District 4 Advisory Board meeting to order. And we do have a quorum, so everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Can I get a motion and a second for approval of tonight's agenda? Motion. Second. Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. And can I get a motion for a second and approval of the August 5th, 2019 minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, first by Don, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Staff reports. We'll hear from Fire and Police. You guys can arm wrestle, thumb wrestle. Who goes first? Fire always goes first. For the month of August in District 4, there was 531 total calls for the fire department. 438 of those were medical calls. We're average about 70 to 75% of our calls were medical calls. We had 33 fire calls. We had significant loss on the 2000 South Seneca fire. It was like $400,000 loss on that fire, and a $30,000 loss to 3000 West Douglas, which was rural arson, and another arson one was determined at 400 West Taft. Just a little past numbers. That's the numbers for the month. We started with our South High program. They started the fire science program. They've had one for a while, but now they're in partnership with Wichita Fire Department. Trying to put a career path over there. Started with that. And remember, in 2 days, it was 9/11. Never forget. Never forget. Does anyone have any questions for our fire department friends over here? Okay. Super. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And next up. Who's beating first?
Hello, I'm Officer Richard West. I'm the community police officer for 17B. That area is basically from Maple south to K42, and depending upon where you're at, from Meridian over to Ridge Road. What I wanted to mention to you guys, I don't have a whole lot of information, but I did pull the stats, just a couple of them, over the last 2 weeks just for District 4. Within the last 2 weeks for District 4, we've had 13 auto thefts in just that area. We've had 4 burglaries, residential burglaries, and we've had 20 larceny from vehicles. So we're still seeing that. It's not a specific area. This is citywide. We're still seeing it. We still, trying to get out to citizens to lock your vehicles. Don't leave your vehicles, with keys in it. Don't leave weapons in your vehicles, and all that. But again, like I said, we're still seeing an increase in that there. Also, I wanted to bring up. I was told that Harvest Ridge area is having a national night out. That is I think this Saturday, 9/14, and that's going to be in the 3700 block of Southwest Gate. And then on the 22nd, we're having open streets on Douglas there, and everybody will be involved in that as well. So, guys can come to that. That'd be awesome. But, that's about all I have, unless you guys have any questions for me. Questions from the board? Anything forward? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Officer Reese, Patrol South, 299 and 29B coordinator.
The stats for Patrol South for District 4, let's see here. For the month of August, we've had 4 commercial burglaries, 11 residential burglaries, 49 larceny to autos, 18 auto thefts, and 1 robbery. Compared to last year's numbers, commercial burglaries, 7, 18 for residential burglaries, 47 larceny to auto, and 22 auto thefts, and 4 robberies. And compared to the previous month of July this year, 6 commercial burglaries, 8 residential burglaries, 49 larceny to autos, 11 auto theft, and 4 robberies. What I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to pass out some pamphlets in regards to our larceny to autos and residential burglaries. It's basically print out of the map for all of District 4. The white line in the middle basically separates west side from south side for District 4. The reason I'm handing these out for the residential burglaries and larcenies is the fact for a lot of people like to leave their vehicles unlocked, leave valuables wide open, plain sight. One thing that we always ask for the public and citizens is to make sure you hide your valuables. Don't leave anything out in the open. Something I get onto my family about also. Just the other day, my wife had a letter sitting out face up with her address on it. I talked to her about that. Don't do that. Here's are the reasons why. And also for the residential burglaries, some of those are where people go into an open garage. They'll get to an open vehicle that has a garage door opener in there. Some people will take those garage door openers, use those later on to come back while that person's not home at work and burglarize the residence by going into the garage. Other than that, I have nothing else stat-wise for Patrol South. If there's any questions for the rest of the activities?
One question. Yeah, so on the auto theft, are those people leaving the keys in the car running again, or is this?
Some of those are the keys being left in vehicles. I've heard some reports people do leave keys either on the visor or under the seat. Some of them are just certain popular vehicles that do like to get stolen a lot because they're easy to get into and steal. So one other thing I forgot to bring up, Ring Doorbell launched their app for the police department to access citywide. And I just got into that today to see what it looks like. And basically, anybody that has a Ring Doorbell, they can upload any type of criminal activity, suspicious activity that we're able to view, and we can request those videos to help us and try to figure out what how we can deal with those crimes. So hopefully that will be a helpful tool for us to use also in the near future. So other than that, questions from the public? Question back here.
How many of those how many personal firearms were in the auto?
From what I've looked at least, I don't know for the previous month, it'll range anywhere from 3 to 6. 3 to 6.
Just people leaving their
Just,
firearms.
yeah, leaving their firearms in the vehicles. So one of them that I heard over the radio here within the past couple of weeks was somebody leaving their vehicle unlocked at City Hall, and their gun gets stolen from within the parking lot.
And there's no law, like that's part of my concern from Kansas, where on law against leaving your, I know there's a law leaving your kid in a vehicle. It's the same thing with firearms.
No,
Not at all. Thanks for that.
no problem. Anyone else?
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Well, let's come on down to the next contestant.
Okay.
All right.
There's the sets.
Okay, our circulation count here at the Alfred Branch for August was 2,864 items. And then our day count for August was 6,783 visits. If you're interested in starting a small business in Wichita, consider attending the small business panel with Grow with Google. That's this Thursday from 6 to 8 at the Advanced Learning Library. 3 small business owners will serve as panelists from Reverie Coffee Roasters, Affinity Automotive, and the Hive Wichita. On Tuesday, September 24th, from 6 to 7:30, you can explore the Google Suite here at the Alfred Branch. Our tech trainers will be on site. The class is going to be right in this room. The modules to be explored will include Gmail, Calendar, Docs, Google Drive, Google Slides, and Photos. You can call us at 337-9119 to register. And the National Endowment of the Arts Big Read Wichita kicks off Saturday, September 28th with a party at the Advanced Learning Library from 2 to 4. This year, we will read and explore Lab Girl by Hope Jarin. Information about programs related to this year's Big Read Wichita can be found at bigreadwichita.org. And we've also got a spread in our library newsletter here, and then here is the title on the front. So we've got programming that lasts all the way through October into the first half of November. And lastly, we are now, the branches are now open again on Sundays. So Alfred's weekend hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Saturday and 1 to 5 on Sunday.
The SBA small business thing that you mentioned there, that information is the calendar is on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's Thursday night, 6 to 8 downtown.
Are those flyers available in?
These?
Yes.
Yes, we've got it inside, but I also grabbed the stack and they're back on the sign-in table here too. So,
Awesome.
okay.
Great, thanks. Okay, on to the public agenda, and there are no scheduled items on the public agenda. So, off agenda, if there's any individual here that did not request to speak on the public agenda prior to the meeting, they speak at this time, unless it's about one of the cases being presented tonight. So anybody that wishes to speak? Okay. That was done. On new business, next we'll hear a planning case on a new concept, home front veterans.
Good evening, I'm Dave Yearout. I'm with the planning department. I'm here tonight on the zoning case that's before the planning commission scheduled for the 19th. This is a request for a planned unit development for Passageways LLC covering 56 acres of ground. Essentially, it's the land south of Cary Street. We're west of Seneca, and on the map you've seen it is in 2 parcels. I think you should have gotten also a copy of the site plan that showed how they're proposing to develop this project. This is a very unique, and to this date, I'm not aware of anything that's comparable coming in the city or in the region for that matter. This is intended to be kind of a private compound development that will be targeted by Passageways for future housing for primarily homeless veterans, an opportunity to provide them a place that they can have some space for themselves, and then additional facilities within the development intended to provide support services for that clientele to help them get transitioned back into productive members of society, ultimately to develop and move back into the general population. That's what the website of Passageways talks about. I'm not here to discuss their mission. There are folks here, that group that can do that. I'm here talking only about the zoning aspect of it. The ground in question is undeveloped, if you're familiar with that piece of ground at all. It's zoned single family. The classification of the planned unit development is intended to allow them the flexibility to kind of create this unique community that they're envisioning within that overall plan. The staff recommendation has been to support the change of zoning. We are asking to just modify the formal documents as it gets to the end, but we're all moving towards the same objective of creating a zoning classification on this property that will allow passageways and their supporters to continue to see this develop into really what we think will be a very positive thing for Wichita, for this part of the state, and hopefully it can become a model for a much greater audience across the country. There will still need to be a planning done. There's some other utility work and things of that nature will come forward in time, but the zoning is step one that allows us all to move forward. So we're recommending approval, as I said, it's outlined in the staff report. So with that, I'm going to stop because we do have other people here from Passageways that may want to speak to you about what they're doing. And so with that, I'll turn to you and ask if you have any questions of us. And if not, well, we can turn it over to other people that want to talk.
Do we want to comment or do we just take the motor?
Well, you might want to hear, you might want to hear the passageways.
Hear the presentation first?
Yeah,
Okay, and then we'll come back to the board for discussion.
yes.
So there's someone here.
You may have any questions of me?
On the zoning side, I don't think so.
Good evening. I am Susan Mullinger, and I'm one of the founders of Passageways. I'm here with quite a big group from Passageways, including my daughter Jennifer and her husband Sean, who are also founders of Passageways. Passageways itself has been in existence for 5 years. We're in West Wichita. We have a house there where we take in up to 9 homeless men at a time and help them get back on their feet and into a place of their own. The concept started when we actually first started Passageways, that we wanted to do some sort of a campus-style living arrangement for homeless veterans. And lo and behold, a couple of years ago, a local company came to us and said they want to do something for veterans as well, and proposed to us that they would build houses for the veterans and we would manage and operate the property and own the property. And so through them, we connected up with several other businesses here in Wichita and have signed a contract on the land for the proposed Homefront neighborhood, veteran neighborhood, and hope that we get your support as well on that project. The project will include cottage homes for each individual and family. We're going to be able to help not only homeless male veterans like we do now, but also female veterans, which unfortunately that statistic is on the rise, and families of veterans. There's nothing in Sedgwick County that we're aware of to help that family unit stay together. So the goal is the camaraderie of all of our veterans together as a group make all the difference in the world. Don't know how many of you are veterans or how many here are veterans, but we've seen it at Passageways. We've seen the group come together and work together to get that person down the road and help them succeed. And so the concept is that same camaraderie, that they will all work together. We'll have job training available on site. We'll have volunteer opportunities on site for not only the people living there, but also for the public, more so than what we do now. On the public side of the complex, we'll not only have a community center where meetings could be held, as well as we will have a complete commercial restaurant there. We already have somebody that's going to run that restaurant and help us train some of the veterans that are living there. And so it'll be on the job training for food service. We're even looking at the possibility of a food truck in the future. We're going to have garden areas, playground areas. The resource center will also include counseling centers for mental health, which we all know is a very big need. We'll also have case managers from Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, and the VA. They have all come to us and said they want an office on this property. So we'll have all services right there on the property, so the veteran does not have to leave. A lot of times what we've seen is the veterans that come to us, they've been to the VA and they've gotten overwhelmed and they can't, and they won't go back. And so this will bring all the services to them instead. Any questions that you might have? This is actually, let me add in, this is not just a temporary housing situation. The veterans that are living in our Homefront will have the option, once they complete our program, they can then go on to living in the community if they want to, or they can actually start renting the cottage that they are in. We'll have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom cottages to start out with. It'll be a gated community. I think Mr. Yearwood said that. But they will also have rules that they'll have to follow. There will be no alcohol or drugs while they're on the program or while they're living at Homefront. And we will work through that. Nate Schwedal has helped us throughout this whole process of getting this ready, and it has passed through their security, their security section. And so we are working very strongly with the Wichita Police Department to make sure it is a secure environment as well. Any questions? Good.
So thank you for what you guys do. Amazing. I have 2 questions. First, how do you screen your veterans, for their eligibility to provide service? And secondly, will you have the ability to help with disability claims on this facility as well?
First question on vetting, we call it vetting the veterans. We make sure that they are a veteran, number one. We go through either the VA, Catholic Charities, or Salvation Army, or the HOT team. They can verify for us right on the instant that they are a veteran. So that's number one. Number two is that we also ask questions about who they are. Our current program, we don't allow registered sex offenders or violent criminals because it is a household setting and we're in a neighborhood with kids, and a lot of times Jennifer and I are there by ourselves, so we want to also feel safe. So those rules will be following us on into Homefront. There are other programs for those individuals that are more garnered to what their needs are. Second part of your question, remind me again, I'm sorry.
The disability services
Okay.
and helping them with their claims if they need that. Because you talked about having so many resources, which is amazing. But I know that's one of the critical components that kind of help get back on their feet.
Yeah. We have been working with the regional office a lot on those claims and the appeals to those claims, which is mostly what we end up working with. We have cell phone numbers to most everybody that we need to work with at the VA individually so that we can get those claims started or those appeals started. We just went into an agreement with a local home health agency, and one of their case managers also does the claim process as well. So she will be there to help us out as well. We've got somebody that has never put in a claim at all. So she'll be there to help us.
Would you still be maintaining the facility out west? Would that close? And then in addition to that, you had mentioned these would be single 1 to 2 bedroom cottages. Is there any joint living space for veterans such as your facility out west, or is this all individual spaces for veterans as well?
The house out west we will keep. We're talking about using that either as an intake center for males or as an emergency type situation where they just need something for a couple of days. That is still in conversation though. But yes, our plan right now is to keep that facility or the house in West Wichita. We call it our living center. So it's out there. Right now, the only plan we have are for the cottage homes. So there'll be individual homes, and there's 30 feet between. One of the complaints that we get all the time when the guys move into apartments is their shared walls. They don't like sharing walls. That does, in a lot of cases, exacerbate their PTSD. So with the individual cottages, we won't have that issue, and there's 30 feet between each cottage right now. So that will save that. Plus, we've also designed the bathroom as a safe room. It's all concrete, like they do for Habitat for Humanity. So not only is it for storms, but it's also for if there's fireworks going on, if there's loud noises going on, they can actually go in there. It's going to be a quiet spot for them to be able to relax. And there's plenty of room in those bathrooms. They're very large. They're all ADA compliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Yes,
was
sir.
curious about your funding. I mean, it's wonderful that somebody was willing to donate some property and put up the buildings and so forth, but obviously there's more to it than that, and I was just wondering what that is.
We started a capital campaign. We're in the silent phase of the capital campaign. It started back in May of this year. So we are actively raising the funds to be able to purchase the land and anything else that we'll need there. We are very active in that. Throughout the time that we've been with Passageways for the 5 years, we have never taken any government funding of any type, and we're still planning on doing that as well at Homefront. We do grants to foundations and companies, things like that for our funding.
And see, I will simply add that I'm glad that you're not taking any government money. I was loosely associated with a charity here in town that found that government money sometimes had strings attached to it that made life difficult.
Exactly.
And if you can avoid that, you're probably better off.
Yeah. Jennifer and I, when we started this 5 years ago, both of us quit our careers to do this. So that's how passionate we are about all of this. And with the government, if we had government funding coming in, like you said, we wouldn't be able to go at the speed that we go. We are on 24/7. We have picked up heroes at midnight. We have picked up heroes or taken food to families that in need late at night. And we're thankful that we're able to do that.
Thank you.
So do you guys have or you probably have maybe a service animal?
Thank you.
Obviously there's a lot of things. There's a couple of veterans up here on the one currently actively serving, and
Thank you.
one that
Thank you for your
is
service.
just a veteran now.
Yes.
Service animals, and there's a lot of programs, especially Kansas is really strong about getting them into a trade school. And there's WSU is partnered with Wichita Tech. Have you reached out, and how willing are they to accept the veterans?
Currently, we are not able to take service animals in just because of the size of the house. So, but at the Homefront, yes, we are allowed. We will have service animals and comfort animals. We will have dog parks. They're even talking about building little dog houses to match the cottage home at every property that needs one, every house that needs one. So yes, we will be taking service animals. We had a conversation just recently with the Kansas Humane Society about partnering with them on some training and things like that as far as the dogs are concerned, or cats, or whatever animal comes to us as a comfort animal.
And the trade school side of it?
I know that one of our community partners, can I mention your name? Sure. Okay. You may know him, but Wes Gallion with Wichita Area Builders Association is in contact with one of the trade schools, and they will actually be building the walls and the trusses for the houses. Any other questions?
We're good here. We can open it up to the public. If you have any questions,
Yes.
Question. I wondered if you have any plot plans yet, or sketches, or the architect's drawings of what the two areas would look like?
We do have a temporary proposed sketch that I just got from our architect. I don't have very many, but I can send one around. If you look at it from an aerial view of the property, it is the Wichita flag. Didn't mention that, did I? There's a few too many things to mention. We're very excited.
If you look, shoot a drone up and you actually look down on the neighborhood, it's the Wichita flag. So the different triangles are going to represent the different neighborhoods, male only, female, and those with family. Textron's already donated a $50,000 commercial playground for that area. We've got 1.3 million already raised in gift in kind, and we haven't gone public. We have got so many agencies that are like, we believe in this, and we just graduated our 80th hero off the street, and it was on home this last Saturday, and it was the most amazing feeling on the planet. We had a new hero come in an hour later. We're full. The word is spreading, and with Homefront, we're going to be able to get to the other heroes that need this so badly. The community has been contacting us. Let us know when you go bigger. Let us know when you expand, because we've got your backs. We've got the heroes. So we're very anxious to see how we put Wichita on the map and teach other cities and states how to do this. It's a very giving community, and they definitely have our heroes' best interest at heart. Proving that over and over. If we're moving a hero into their new home, one of the coolest things, if we're missing something like a microwave, I'll do a live Facebook feed. 13 minutes and under, we have that item. It's amazing. It is amazing the help we get.
The gentleman that spoke a second ago, can we get your name and address for the record, please?
When I asked about the.
Yeah, your name and address for the record.
What do you mean? Shall I just shout it out or?
You don't have to shout it, baby. She's not hard to hear.
I'm not deaf yet.
Were there any other questions?
Name and address.
No, just me.
Earl Manchester.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's all I have.
My name is Pat Lehman, P-A-T-L-E-H-M-A-N. I live at 515 Manlow in Wichita, 67204. I'm here representing the machinists union. As you probably have figured out, this project is going to butt right up against our property. And so we have a number of questions about how it's going to happen. I note that they keep saying it's going to be access from Kerry Lane. Kerry Lane doesn't exist. It's a tree line. The street's not there. Because that's the south edge of our property. And it's a tree line. And so we have a question on how they're going to access the property. If they're planning to come in off of Kerry Lane, and Kerry Lane isn't there.
Yeah, I mean, most of this request is in two phases. The eastern section, the larger tract, is what's primarily going first. The second will come later. All that issue will be handled through the plat. The planning process will address how and when the roads will be extended and utilities extended and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I want to know that now.
Well, we don't know because we haven't seen the plat.
Okay. So is there something magic going to happen that we find this out?
Yeah, when the plats.
Our engineer, Tim Austin, is here. He can answer that, or portions of that.
So, Tim Austin with Colorado Engineering, we're working with Passageways on the zoning and planning. Kind of the part that we're talking about, the first phase is on the south side of Kerry Lane. So it has access to it. The track that's, if you look on their PUD document, that is front 235, just east of your place, that has access to Kerry from the east. There's also a little bit of dedicated right of way on the south edge of your property. Kerry, there's a short segment on the north side of the trailer park that's south, and there's also some right of way. When we go through the planning processes, Year-Out said that Mr. Year-Out will kind of identify those right of ways. But future on that second track that's up adjacent to the machinist union, we don't have definitive plans for that just yet. So the focus is really on the first part, which is southeast of there, next to Kerry Lane, next to the woodworkers carpentry shop.
So there are plans to extend city services out there, because right now, there's no sewer service out there.
There actually is there's sewer service to that southeast track.
Okay.
It comes through there.
Because there isn't down Meridian.
Correct. Yeah, but we can get sewer service to that future track through the service that's run through the southeast track.
Okay. Will the machinist be responsible for paying for any of that?
Not that I know of today. Can't make any promises because we haven't looked at it, but certainly that segment of the street that might be on your south, I don't know if that was dedicated or what mechanisms would be in place. I haven't researched that yet, but certainly for what we're looking at today, there would be no reason for you guys to have an expense.
Okay. Next question would be, if you in fact create Kerry Lane all the way through from Seneca to Meridian, that's going to generate a lot of traffic across the edge of our parking lot, actually. And we have concerns about that much traffic because our parking lots are not designed for huge amounts of traffic all the time. And so we are concerned about that. that can run into a major expense for us because the parking lot is designed for residential vehicles, not commercial vehicles which will be coming in and out. It's not designed to hold up that kind of weight. And so we have real concerns about folks cutting across the parking lot all the time if Kerry Lane becomes a street. And I think that's a valid concern because we are then responsible for repairing the thing all the time. I have one other question. Have you examined the water table there?
Yes.
Okay, and
Well, it fluctuates, as we know, especially this year. Groundwater is up a little bit that spring, but we have looked at it. One of the things that we do in the planning process is we have to examine the drainage. We look at groundwater.
that's why we're concerned.
So, it's pretty deep in there, at least historically. It's like it's in the 10 to 12 foot range. So I believe all the cottages are slab on grade structures. So.
No basements. They're not gonna try to do the basements.
No, safe rooms are built into them.
Okay, okay, because when the machinist building was built, we discovered basically that's over an underground lake. That whole area is basically an underground lake. And we had planned to build a basement and discovered that we had to haul in several tons and tons and tons of dirt and tamp it down. And that's the reason the building sets up like it does in that area, because that's where the basement is. We never could do a full basement underneath because of that. So I would warn you to be very cautious about that, because there are places in that area where the water table is very high. Even in the normal circumstances, it's very high. And so we have, we're giving you a fair warning because
There's several dirt contractors on the committee of Passageway.
oh, that's good. You may be needing it, believe me. We certainly did. Will we be responsible for any of the utilities being brought in? For any of the cost of the utilities being brought in?
Right now, I don't foresee that.
Okay. You don't foresee it, but you can't tell me it won't happen.
Well, a lot of it has to do with city policies from a regulatory environment. Right now, for the track that we're in the housing division, utilities are already on the side. Water's there, sanitary sewers there. Obviously, we can serve that track that's up by you. If we have to move water through there for fire protection, pressure, that's just a discussion with the city about how that gets paid for, and whether Passageways would pay for it all, or whether there would be some sharing of the cost. Typically, we wait until planning to have those kind of discussions. Keep subdivision plan, and you'll get notified of that.
You keep saying planting. Explain to me what you're meaning.
Okay, so for those who don't know, any land that's unplatted, so old township or any quarter section, we have some very lengthy legal descriptions required what we call a subdivision plat. It goes through a process within the city of Wichita through the planning department, Mr. Spear, to create lots and blocks. So like a residential subdivision, you know, block one, Sterling Farms edition or something like that. That is a process that the city requires in order to obtain a building permit. And when we go through the planning process, it gets scrutinized by something like, I think, 34 different government agencies, including the school district and county agencies, different departments, fire department, water, postal service for addressing, things of that nature. And so it's a rather lengthy examination and process, about 120 days, about 4 months to go through that. And we try to address things like access, how streets, drainage, water, sewer, make sure that everything's sufficiently properly addressed.
Because we did have some concerns about drainage in particular, although that area is basically sand.
It's sand, and it's a part of the site is part of the Riverside Drainage District, which is kind of the big slew south. And so those individuals that sit on that board will be talking to them as well.
Now, the next question, do you have any plans for providing any kind of fencing between the Machinist property and this property.
I don't believe we have any plans for fencing. Our focus is really on that neighborhood housing and so on.
Well, our concern is because we have that space, that it can be very attractive to people to do various sort of things. And we don't want the liability. Quite frankly, if something happens, we don't want to be held financially liable for someone coming onto the property that is owned by the machinist and getting injured, getting hurt, getting in trouble, whatever. And so we have concerns that there's not going to be any kind of divisions there, because that is a wide open space, and then it comes directly into our parking area, building, and so forth and so on. So we have concerns about liability issues. Liability insurance is very expensive if you haven't had it, and we don't want to have to increase our premiums and liability issue.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you have the same concerns with the current trailer park community that's adjacent to your property?
Let me tell you a little secret. Everybody in my family's been in the military, okay? Just got one back from Afghanistan. So don't think I'm up here opposing anything for veterans.
Ma'am, I'm
Don't get excited, okay? Just don't get
I
excited.
spent 12 years
because
in the Marine Corps. Do you want to see excited? I can get excited.
Most,
I'm asking a simple question just like you did. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be offensive.
no,
Just asking a simple question.
the trailer park was there when we came there. So we didn't have decisions, you know, and we have had some issues from
I'm
there.
just curious how the concerns there, given the age of the bulk of most of the homeless veterans in Wichita. You're a bunch of grown men. What are you afraid they're going to do?
I don't know.
Well, you just said there's concern with the machinist union.
Yes, because we have had some incidents there already.
With homeless veterans.
No, not with homeless veterans.
Well, that's what's going to be living there.
I understand that.
Once we get to developing that tract of land,
Believe me, I do.
what,
The majority of our members are male members of veterans. There's probably no group more supportive of veterans. Quietly, you don't hear it.
The line of questioning doesn't sound very supportive.
We have a responsibility to our membership
I understand that.
to be careful stewards of their money. And that is our responsibility, not only by labor law, but by Department of Labor law. We deal with more laws than you can ever believe. And believe me, fiduciary responsibility is a big part. And they come in and check us on a regular basis. Did you do what a prudent person would do? That's what is always asked and examined, and our books are gone through thoroughly. So we have had some incidents from the trailer park. They have been reported to proper authorities, and we've dealt with it. But
Ma'am.
we don't want anybody getting hurt, okay? Yeah.
Back up here.
I think
It's okay. I
that's
gave-
about all I had.
Super. I gave you some latitude. Normally we only do about 2 minutes, but I know you represent a large body of people, so I
Yeah.
just assume that those people are all there speaking as well. So,
I appreciate it very much.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
for your time. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your answers. Thank you.
And we'll be happy to do that.
yeah, I'm sure you guys will all
Okay.
follow up with Jim.
Yeah, I signed
Good
you up
conversation.
left you my email address. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
You bet. Good back row over here.
My name is Gary Hall. I live at 1009 West Davis. I'm also a machinist member. I just want to take a minute to reply to you. I don't know what people are going to do. I don't care how old they are. There's very few people that I trust anymore. I see somebody walking down the middle of my street at night. I don't think, what's he going to do? And I see that every day. I see people crawling around all the time. They may or may not be veterans. I don't care. Now, I've just got two questions. Number one, since there's so much about the second stage that nobody knows, I really think this should be considered in two parts. Not do both of them at one time, just do one, because that's the one you seem to have the answers about for the most part. And number two, is there anything when they do the second part that's gonna affect what we do on our land at the district. In the past, we have leased it out for agriculture. We've raised soybeans, we've raised wheat, whatever to help us out a little bit. Was there anything that might stop that at a later date?
Not on the property that you own, no.
Okay,
Now,
well, this is
and
the
then-
city guy, he ought to know.
Okay, well,
That I am, and the answer is no.
Okay, then I'll take your
You
word.
can, you can continue to use your property the same way you've always have, regardless of what happens zoning wise on the property in question.
and then, once we're ready to develop that second section, yes, it will be fenced in just like the other property. So there won't be that issue of crossover, it will be fenced.
And I would add, in effect, this is set up as a two-phase process because the approval of the zoning would go into place. The second phase, or that western tract that butts up to the Machias property, is held in abeyance until more definitive plans can be brought forward for presentation at that time.
Which means,
Which
For us
means that
simple
if approved, the idea is that everything going on initially will happen on the southeast property.
but will there be another meeting like this before? where
Well,
we
it's set
can
up to be
get more?
administrative, as long as the second phase is comparable in nature of what goes on the first phase, all the approvals can be handled administratively in the second phase, not have another public hearing.
Well, see, that's my concern. I mean, I'll admit, I'm ignorant about this. I have no idea, this is the first time I've ever been to one of these. But, to me, when you have so many questions about the second one, why wouldn't you have another meeting? Because every time I've heard this gentleman speak, well, we don't know.
The flip side, okay, then let me ask you this. If the first phase was developed and you were perfectly happy with that, why would you complain about the same thing on the second part?
I necessarily wouldn't, but I'd like.
Then
the
why
other-
would we have to go through the entire public
Okay,
hearing process?
let me answer your question. I'm one of them people that I dot my i's and cross my t's. I like to know. I'm trying to become more involved in stuff as I get older. So if I have no problem, then I have the option of not going to the meeting or going to the meeting and standing up and saying, hey, I think it's a great idea. But that's me.
The rules, the way it's set up is that, and it says, as long as it's comparable with phase one, phase two is fine.
So let me ask you this, who decides what's comparable?
The officials in charge of the city level.
Whoever they may be at the time. You're talking the city commission.
No.
No, it's handled administratively. City commission will ultimately have to approve this because it's a zone change. Within that, they will give the administrative authority to whoever is the planning director at that time to make the determination if the second phase is comparable, everything is fine, go ahead and issue permits.
Okay, well, I appreciate
Whoever
your-
that may be.
I appreciate your information.
Okay. Other comments, questions from the public? Yes, ma'am.
I'm a machinist number 2.
Okay, state your name and address, please.
My name's Judy Pierce. I live at 5328 South Stoneboro Court, Wichita, Kansas, 67217. I just think the machinists are getting a bad rap here. We love our veterans. We've got a special deal for our veterans that we do when we try and help our veterans. This isn't anything against our veterans at all, because we'll do whatever we can to help them, but we also got to look at what it's going to cost us to do that. Because if something would happen there and we're responsible for it, and it's our veterans' money, that part of our members are veterans, it's their money too, that we do. And we do a lot of things to help them. So I do not want anybody believing that the Machinist Union is against veterans, because we are not. We support it very highly. And I personally, when I see a veteran, or I know it's a veteran, or I see a soldier, I thank him. I don't care if I'm walking down the airport. I thank them for their service, because there ain't nobody better than a veteran who goes to fight for us. And a lot of them are machinists too.
From our IAM friends, what do you figure percent veterans of your membership? Just curious.
Of the male members, probably 50 to 70%, depending on the age group.
Very good.
You know, the Air Force Base is almost a hiring hall
Sure.
for the aircraft industry here. So it's so common, it's more uncommon for our male members not to be a veteran than it is to be a veteran.
Thank you. Questions, sir? My name is Titus Cordero. I'm part of the board. Also a 20-year veteran. I'm retired. I did 3 years during the war in the Army and 17 years in the Air Force. And we understand where you're coming from. We understand that you just want to know how it'll impact you guys with safety, liability. And we will address those concerns as we progress forward. We want to make sure that everybody that's affected by our projects are part of our project. Thanks for your time.
Well, we expect to be part of the project. We just, you know, we do have a responsibility
Yes,
to
ma'am.
our members and their money.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're just trying to be good stewards of the service, right? Yes.
And the Machinist Union has been part of our project. We've been to your dinners and things like that.
Yes, ma'am.
We want to continue that relationship. So thank you.
So we want to continue that symbiotic relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone else from the public? Yes, sir.
I just want to make a brief comment.
Your name and address.
I'm Wes Gallion, President of Builders Association. It hasn't been raised, but I'm sure at some point it might be raised. It's going to be small homes. They are small cottages. I just want you to know they're built to the uniform building code that we build other site-built houses to. The fact that they're smaller doesn't make them inferior in any way. They will be real estate, not personal property, because it was set on a permanent foundation. And we will take care of how we assemble those and put those together on the site, because one of the things about this site, as you might imagine, is the security of the people on it, which translates into anybody be close to them, be pretty secure because of the emphasis put on this site. And everybody understands that. So I think as we move forward, we'll all be proud of what this project looks like. And there's not too many places like this in the country, if any, that have the commitment to veterans this one has. And we can all play a very positive role in making sure that care is delivered.
Thank you, sir. Very well said.
My name is Brian LeCount, the commander for the Sons of American Legion, Squadron 408, Derby, Hayesville. I sit on the part of the committee for passageways. And I just want to say, as a construction worker myself, working with paving and dirt contracting, one of the biggest things that I do that's completely out of my scope of work is I go around door to door anytime we're doing anything anywhere to give people a heads up, hey, there's going to be construction equipment in your area. These are the dates that we're going to be doing what. I make sure that there is little to no encroachment on any property that's going to be worked on. So as long as I'm a part of this committee, as long as I'm a part of this organization, I can guarantee you that there will be no damage, nothing done to the Machinist Union property. There will be no encroachment. As long as we have clear and concise, what's the word I'm looking for? Guidelines for the property line, like where your property line starts and ends, and where ours starts and ends. Maybe there's going to be the silt. Are you guys familiar with what a silt fence is? Anytime there's any kind of dirt work done that butts up to an adjacent property, they put in a silt fence. It goes down about 5 to 6 feet into the ground and extends about 2 to 3 feet up, and it prevents any dirt, paving material, gravel, whatever, from encroaching onto the other property.
You're going to be right up against the open field, so don't worry about the silt fence. If a little dirt blows off.
And I'm bold, I feel like there's some concerns with things happening to the Machinist Union property, and I just want to put it out there that you can rest assured I can give you 100. I think I speak for everybody when I say it's 100% guaranteed. You have nothing to worry about coming from us at all. So thank you for the time. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Anyone else tonight? Well, this is exciting stuff. I see great opportunities for folks, for neighbors to work together, new neighbors to work together. So that sounds great. So I think it comes back to us.
Were there any other objections from the public, or was there any comment period?
No, that's me.
Okay.
I'm here to answer questions.
I understand. Usually whenever we do these zoning things, I almost always ask you guys during the comment, was there, massive letter writing campaign, anything like that? Okay, so there's none there. I see you waving your hand back there. What you got?
I'm sorry to do this, but if phase 2 goes in and you run Kerry Lane or whatever it is from Meridian over, I understand there's easements there. Do you happen to know if any of those easements will take any of the parking lot off?
Well, number one,
I understand there's easements.
No, I don't know that. Number two, we don't know whether Kerry Lane will go all the way through. If it does, the existing easement that's on record when the Machinist Union property was platted, well, that easement area would be part of the future road if it went through. There's a whole bunch of questions and nobody has answers right now how that will go. Can I tell you unequivocally it will not touch the parking lot? No, I can't do that because I haven't looked at the details. I don't think Mr. Ross would do that at this stage either. But this next level would be if that was to occur, how that would happen.
It may not
It's
be
pure speculation at this point on anybody's part.
But just to pick your brain for my own information for later on, in case it ever comes up where I live. Let's say the easement was for a 10-foot easement through there, but you're going to put in a road that's 20 foot wide. How would that work? I know it may not have anything to do with that. I'm just trying to learn something here tonight.
Historically, the city does not initiate street improvements of that nature unless there's a longer, greater need to do that. The worst case scenario is if it was determined by a governing body that it had to have the road through there, and there were landowners unwilling, the local government always has the God off the power of eminent domain to do that. So is it possible that could something? Well, yeah, it could, but it depends on a whole lot of unknowns right now.
I'm just trying to educate myself. That's all.
Which way dominoes may fall in the future. So.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just want to make sure I understood something was said. Did you not say that this is going to be a gated community?
Yes, correct.
So there would not be people that are just leaving this property in any direction. They would have to be
No, sir.
coming and going from a specific
For
site.
one specific point, as a matter of fact, if anybody comes to visit one of our heroes, they have to check in with one of our gatekeepers at the front. We would call ahead and say, are you expecting so-and-so to come? If it's no, then they are not allowed access.
There will be point of control of entry.
Yes, absolutely.
Very good, thank you.
Okay. Back to the board. I'm ready for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the proposal.
I enthusiastically second. We have this first and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Very good. All right.
And I just to remind everyone, the official public hearing on this case is Thursday the 19th by the Wichita Planning Commission, and that will be at 1:30 in the afternoon at our offices at 271 West Third.
What building is that?
It's a Ronald Reagan building, the former IRS building.
Okay. The IRS building.
Or those up old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
And we're on the second floor.
Because that's not pretty use for me.
No, I know.
It goes through the planning commission and then to the city council. Send you the report. I'll send you the report.
All right, thank you.
Okay, folks. Old business, we have none. Folks, the rest of us still got a meeting to wrap up. Just real quick, Okay, let's see. This is the time we go back to the board. Does anybody on the board have anything that they would like to bring up, comment upon, or whatnot?
Just clarification, the breakfast, the district breakfast.
That was on my.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's the one thunder. Why we'll give it back to you.
Any more thunder down here? Any more thunder stealing? All right, so please remind everyone that District 4 breakfast and baseball, 8:45, September 21st, $5, all you can eat, coffee and water provided. RSVP is required if you plan to eat or if you just want to show up for coffee, you're also welcome. Where is that at, Becky?
It's at the Kansas Masonic Home
Okay.
that is on Maple and Seneca. But go to Martinson, which is the street just to the west of the Masonic Home, and you can use their parking lot, go through that door, and it's going to be really fun. And the food is going to be really, really good.
What's it gonna be? What's food?
Okay, it's a baseball themed menu, so we're having AAA frittata. We're having line-drive bacon and walk-off biscuits and gravy and fruit medley, a fastball fruit medley. And then there's going to be a surprise item that I'm not allowed to, that the chef is.
Sliders, come on. You want to do the slider? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
She's holding back. Uh-oh.
I'm holding back.
I stole Becky's thunder.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, you didn't steal the thunder.
Okay. I think that's it. We can get a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
First Don, second here, all those in favor? Aye. And let's see, next meeting is October 7th, so second Monday, or first Monday next month. Yeah, first Monday next month, 6:30 p.m. Be here or be square. I will be square, because I will not be here. Oh, no, I will.